RMCRetro.
So yesterday I got this comment from somebody on one of my John Hancock comic cuts. Now, comic cuts was a series of it was cuts from comment of the day in my comment reply shows, and I would put video games in the background. And I had a cool kind of sword slashing sound. It was comic cuts. That actually took a little bit too much time as other series that I had and I never went back to on the channel. But there was several comic cuts focusing really on comments from a lot of you guys about people like John Hancock on YouTube. If you don't know about who John Hancock is, if you don't know about John Hancock, he is a retro gaming YouTuber, and he is in the Metal Jesus Rocks crew. There are several members of that crew, and they all focus on retro games. And in that particular crew, there happens to be a long history of scamming, a long history of nefariousness, I will say. And, of course, e-beggery. Well, this person came by, and I thought it was another garden variety defender of John Hancock saying, "You're wrong about the museum. You're wrong about it. It's going to happen." And I replied simply, "Do you have any information I do not?" I didn't just ban them and delete them. I said, "Hey, do you have any information I do not?" Not that I don't think I'm ever going to be proven wrong and there's actually going to be a John Hancock museum, but no, I was curious. Because I knew the answer. They were not going to have any information. But this morning when I woke up, I saw a lot of links. And I said, oh, this has got to be good. Let's see if I'm proven wrong. And he has another update for his museum that he's been talking about for about a decade now. But no, this commenter actually led to something very interesting that you see in the background here. This is a legitimate game museum. This is a real game museum. I mean, I don't know how many of you define what a game museum is, but I always thought a game museum could go one of two ways. It could be like the Nintendo Game Museum and be big and boisterous and kind of fun looking, or it can be more toned down, subtle, like a library of sorts. There's a game museum called The Cave. The Cave is a hands-on exhibition of retro microcomputers, consoles, and gaming. It's located in the heart of Cotswolds in Chalford, Gloucestershire, and can be enjoyed by booking a ticket for one of the many event days. You can actually book a visit now. Like if I wanted to go there, I could go there. It's an actual place you could go to. Imagine that. We also have a page of frequently asked questions to help you plan your trip to the cave, which you can read here. There's even an FHQ. Wow. Watch the building of the cave and regular updates on its evolution here, or visit the YouTube channel to see what's happening at the cave. Now, I want to get this out of the way right now. I went to the channel, and this channel has channel memberships. I do not personally believe in memberships. That doesn't mean I fervently care about it. Just because I'm opposed personally to something, a lot of people get confused. Just because I'm opposed to things like e-begging, memberships, Patreon, in most cases, unless it is a Patreon link to an actual charity, just because I am opposed to something doesn't mean I personally am losing sleep and caring that much about it. Okay? Just getting that out of the way. But I have to add that for a lot of people that question, why, Rick, you don't like channel memberships. What are you doing promoting a channel? It does not mean that I can't also give props to someone and also call them out for various forms of e-beggery. And this is a situation where even the memberships and even the Patreon is connected to getting discounts on tickets to this museum. So this is not even pure high-level e-beggery. It's not. It's, I'm not going to say it's super low level, but on the scale of e-beggery, this is not like the Metal Jesus Rocks crew. And to my knowledge, this person's never scammed anybody like the Metal Jesus Rocks crew. But I haven't really looked into this person. I just really don't have the time. I used to have a whole lot of time to do a lot of YouTube stuff, but I don't anymore. Maybe a lot of you know things about this person I don't. I'm just putting that out of the way because I have to put that out of the way because there's going to be so many people going, Rick, they have memberships. What's wrong? Why are you promoting them? Most channels have memberships now. So just putting that out there. E-beggery is at what, a 80-90% threshold on YouTube. So, okay, just putting that out of the way. And even me putting that out of the way probably is going to make a lot of you fans of this person angry. Just deal with your anger, okay? I don't want to see your anger. But just because I'm opposed to any form of e-baggery on YouTube doesn't mean you have to be, all right? But I have to include that. Now, on to the positive. On the positive about this person, they actually built a motherfucking game museum. Can you imagine it? See the evolution of the uploads right here? Upgrading the cave. Let's build an arcade museum. Look at this. The cave is complete. November 2021. This person actually went through with making a motherfucking game museum. That is very impressive. In contrast to one, John Hancock, who year after year after year after year, you're fucking lucky if you even get a museum update from him. You're lucky if you get an update. I had to make his last update in 2024. You don't get any updates from this guy. So I think this person, if they don't know about this guy's existence, needs to be made aware. Metal Jesus, Radical Reggie, all of them in that crew need to be made aware that this person is out there. This person exists. Now, it's not in Seattle. This guy is, like I said, in Cotswolds, Chalford, Gloucestershire. So if you want to know what it's like when a YouTuber actually intends to make a museum, has planning towards making a museum, and actually follows through, this is it. I'm not talking about random updates on YouTube where you're on a panel talking to other people about the planning stages, but no, actually showing the location and work on the actual location, you know, the place that all the games are going to go. See, John Hancock and his scam, it involves getting lots of game donations and money, as he did years ago, towards the game museum. That never happened. Now, this person, like I said, has channel memberships. He hasn't uploaded a video I briefly saw where he was going to somebody and picking up some game donations to go to the museum. But in that instance, there was actually the person that donated, I think in the comment section down below, that upload saying, well, listen, guys, this is a lot of my games I donated, and I'm 20 minutes from the museum, and this way, instead of collecting dust in my basement, I can actually go with other people, and I can look at my games. So in that instance, that person didn't live that far from the museum, but I'm wondering, does that person that donated have to pay ticket prices? I think that would be kind of messed up if you actually charged him to the museum. I think if you donate games to this guy in his museum, you should get a lifetime pass, I would say, probably. Now, speaking of the museum, I'm actually going to give some shine, some gloss, going to give some positivity here on the museum and say that it was well done. It was well put together. It's better than most any of us could do, definitely. And at first, I saw that there were random handhelds on round tables. And that's the first thing you see in the video. And I was about to say, like, because I didn't know when I got this link from this guy if this was John Hancock's game museum. So I was ready to basically call that out and say, oh, his museum is basically a couple handhelds on a table? Because I was still under the impression that this guy was talking about John Hancock's museum when he left me links. I was very, very surprised then when I saw that this was actually links to another YouTuber. And to that person, I might leave a link to this upload saying, well, I'm not wrong in the fact that John Hancock is never going to have a game museum. Because John Hancock's, his whole ploy and scam was getting donations for himself, not to go to a museum, right? That's different than this guy who actually got donations to put within the museum, which is still somebody getting donations. He still has a Patreon. He's still getting money towards the museum, but at least in this instance, it's legit. The money is actually going towards something. It's going somewhere, which is far different than a lot of other instances where there's YouTubers like Dreamcast Guy who's getting $10,000 to work on his teeth I just talked about, but it's now up to $16,000, I was saying. So if there's a money that he makes past that, if there's new GoFundMe goals, then what is that going to? Is he getting some tattoos and nipple piercings? Possibly. We don't know. We're not sure.